Hey guys, Razor here with some information about Elder Scrolls 6. And, even cooler, some insights into a completely new game different from Elder Scrolls or Fallout that Bethesda Game Studios is working on. It's the Fallout Scrolls 6! Not really, just kidding. So, when it comes to Bethesda Game Studios, one of two things comes to mind. The Elder Scrolls or Fallout. When Fallout comes out, you can expect Elder Scrolls to come out next, and then Fallout next, and Elder Scrolls, and the blah 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 blah. It's kind of like the moon rising after the sun sets. And with Fallout 4 being the last Bethesda Game Studios project to be released, people have their ears to the ground for Elder Scrolls 6 information. People like me. But what if the Elder Scrolls 2 Fallout dynamic was switched around? Now, I know, it sounds crazy and unnatural, but not only is there evidence to suggest that this is the case, but Bethesda themselves have actually said it was the case. They are not working on the Elder Scrolls 6. At least not immediately. So, don't listen to any of the humble jumble out there on news articles or other YouTube videos saying, oh, look at all this information we have. They don't have anything, because here in the next 30 seconds, I'll give you the 100% official status of Elder Scrolls 6 right now. And don't get too excited, because often the truth isn't always the most super cool news to hear. Now here we go. Back at the last E3 in 2016, Todd Howard was interviewed many times, of course, many times. And of course, in these interviews, he was asked about Elder Scrolls 6. These are his exact words and the exact state of the game. He says, Bethesda Game Studios is working on Elder Scrolls 6. However, the game is way off. He says he thinks it's really good to be honest with the fans, and he wants fans to know that we probably have years to go before we even see a game trailer for the Elder Scrolls 6. He also states that Bethesda Game Studios is currently working on 2 new projects, each of which are larger than anything they've done before, and the fans are much more likely to hear about these 2 new projects before hearing anything about the Elder Scrolls 6. Todd finishes up by saying, we think very long term. We're not a developer that's going to rush something out like this. When you think about what is in the future of that kind of game, we have a pretty good idea of what it's going to be, and it's just going to take technology and some time, and we don't necessarily have the time right now. To further destroy our hopes and dreams for an Elder Scrolls 6, Pete Hines stated, this studio is not a vending machine. We're not a 2-button vending machine that we just press Elder Scrolls and press Fallout and press Elder Scrolls and press Fallout. We're an incredibly talented studio of creative people. We've had 4 games in a row now, each of which were all Game of the Year, and we have a right to decide what we're interested in working on next and what direction we want to go. Pete Hines goes on to say, Todd's got his reasons why, and I think once we get down the road, those reasons will be more evident to folks once we get there. Or maybe not. But, at the end of the day, these folks have a right to not just have to make an Elder Scrolls game after Elder Scrolls game, which is why they switched to Fallout, and they have a right to stretch their legs and try something else or do something different. I know what they're working on for the next decade, and I think all of them are things to get excited about for different reasons, and once they come out, folks will enjoy them for what they are. So, there you have it. The official stance of the Elder Scrolls 6 as of right now. We've got at least one other game to go, if not 2, before we get to live in Elder Scrolls 6 land. Not to mention, Bethesda Game Studios has around 100 employees, compared to Ubisoft, for example, who have over 1,000, so it takes Bethesda some time to put out major AAA games when compared to other studios. Now, if Bethesda isn't focusing on the Elder Scrolls 6, then what are these 2 new projects they are working on? The first thing that immediately comes to mind would be an RPG game or something with heavy RPG gameplay elements. Kinda like a survival horror game with leveling up and skill trees. However, Bethesda might not be working on an RPG at all. It could be completely different based on what Todd Howard said, that these 2 new projects are bigger than anything they've done in the past. What am I hoping to see? I'd like to see an open world space RPG, similar to Mass Effect but different, kinda in the Elder Scrolls gameplay style. You could start off as a prisoner or a slave on a planet somewhere, escape, make your way through the barrens to the nearest town, and quest up and build up money, gear, assets, all that stuff. Eventually get a small ship, head out, and explore. I think the possibilities make the idea sound awesome. You'd have different types of biomes and region types you could explore easily because of the varying moons and planets and abandoned space stations and all that stuff. You could find blueprints and improve your ship, maybe even hire a crew. We'd have all the cave and mysterious ancient ruins exploration that we loved from the Elder Scrolls games, and we'd have the broken down and abandoned buildings and space stations exploration that we kind of had from Fallout. We'd have all the awesome crafting and skill tree stuff. It could work so easily, and the potential for the gameplay depth is huge. It would also somewhat align with the current trend with open world RPG games lately, kind of like with a future open world RPG kind of vibe, kind of like Mass Effect Andromeda, Horizon Zero Dawn kind of, and in the future, Cyberpunk 2077, which seems like it's going to be a pretty awesome game. Now, what do you think Bethesda Game Studios is working on as its next project, if it's not the Elder Scrolls 6? Would you like to see a Bethesda RPG set in space? Let me know all the things that you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, subba wubba scrubba double bubbles, and good night!